All right, good morning, good morning. So we are here for another installment of Hilchos Pesach, before Pesach, as we are all closeted in our rooms. So today I want to discuss the halachas of selling your chametz. As an aside, we put out a star today. You can probably pick it off the somewhere on the chat. And you can go ahead and sell your chametz. I wrote two different stars. One is a star for the 13th, to be sold on the 13th. That's if you have, now I know nobody's going anywhere this Pesach, either out of the time zones, but in case you are going to an earlier or later time zone, so we have a mechira called a mechira Yud Gimel, which will allow you to own chametz in Eretz Yisrael, not own, but if you own chametz in Eretz Yisrael, so then you have to sell your chametz prior to the time zone in Eretz Yisrael hitting the time, so you have to sell your chametz on the 13th. Additionally, if you're flying to Eretz Yisrael and you're not going to do a Vedika here, it's better to have a mechir Yud Gimel. Otherwise, just use the mechir Yud Dalet. Any place that you're planning on selling lemaisa, we're not makbid on checking. You don't have to do a bedika on any place that you're planning on selling. So if you're planning on selling, say, the washing machine room, and you're putting all your chametz over there or whatever, so then you do not have to go ahead and do a bedika on that. So what's the process of doing the bedika, of doing the mechira? What happens is you're going to go ahead and fill out that document. That document basically gives me the power of attorney, or any rabbi, the power of attorney to sell your chametz. Not only are we selling your chametz, but we're selling the place that the chametz exists on, and that's done for several reasons. First of all, it helps the ma'aseh kinyan. Now, what is a kinyan? You see, if I want to go ahead and transfer something to somebody else, like I want to buy a car, I can't just go ahead and say I'm buying the car. I have to do a ma'aseh kinyan. As we know from all your years in yeshiva, that you have to make a ma'aseh kinyan. This ma'aseh kinyan is made through many different ways. One and two other the ways that it is made actually have to do with owning the area that the chametz is on, and therefore that's one reason why we want to have the chametz being owned by the chametz being placed on an area that is going to be owned by the goy. A second reason why we want it to be owned by the goy is because you are not allowed to have somebody else's chametz, according to some opinions. You're not allowed to have somebody else's chametz in your house, even if you have no achrayus on it. You can't have it in your house in a manner that he's not around. So therefore, if you give a guy a ride, it's okay if he has some chocolate bar in his pocket. But if it's his chametz in your house, it's going to be a problem, even if you have no achrayus for it. And therefore, we get around that. We skirt that problem by having you sell the area that the chametz is in as well. So, just as an interesting, yisoid, what happens is that we're going to go ahead and we're going to get the guy involved, and we're going to bring the guy into an office. Rabbi Zucker is there, and Rabbi Brody, and Rabbi Scheinberg, and Rabbi Gross, Rabbi Zev Cohn, and there's one guy for all those shuls. And we sit him down, we explain to him what's going on. He's done this before, so he knows exactly what's going on. And we do 8 different chazak kinyanim, because it's not simple how a guy is koine something. See, generally a guy can be koine something by either picking it up, bringing it to his house, and there he does a kinyan mashicha and a kinyan hagbah and kinyan chazak. One of those things, and he pays for it. So one of those things, one of those 4 chazak is definitely, one of those 4 kinyanim definitely work. But over here, where he's not picking up the item, it's staying in your house, he's never seeing it, it's merely an abstract transaction. So we've got to really cover our bases by doing different kinyanim. So first we're going to make him do a kinyan chazaka. We make him tie his shoe on the area that he's in the Rabbi Zucker's office. This way he's kind of that spot, and by being kind of that spot, he has a kinyan chazaka. That's a good type of kinyan. He made a chazaka on that spot. By making a chazaka on that spot, he is kind of all the other karka with it. And by being kind of all the other karka, he's then able to make a kinyan chazaka on the chametz in that karka. Another way is he has a kinyan chazaka. He does a skiras. He goes ahead and he buys he buys a part and parcel of the land that all the chametz is on, and thereby he requires the chametz. Then he does a kinyan kesef. He does this twice: once to buy a chametz, once to buy the karka, and once to buy all the chametz. Now, each person who sends a shtar, we have to have the stars printed out, and we give him the stars at the end of the day. So that's why it's very important for you to fill out the stars. I can't just go ahead and say over the phone that I'll do. I could fill out a shtar for you over the phone, but each person's going to have his own star, and this way I will have a sheaf of stars, however many it is, 100 stars, where we're going to go ahead and give that to the guy, and the guy is going to pay 5 cents for each star. So he's paying per person who's, sometimes he has to give, I remember last year, I think it was like he had to give over $50, or maybe it was $150, I don't remember, maybe it was even $150. So then there's this thing called Kinyan Agav, which since he's kind of the karka, he's going to be kind of the stuff that come up. And with also, he's going to write a star as a kinyan star. He's going to be kinyan sudar. He's going to give a pen over to Rabbi Zucker. Rabbi Zucker is going to pick it up, and he's doing it for all of us. There's the kinyan situmta. They're going to handshake. I don't know nowadays. I don't know exactly. Maybe they'll wear gloves. And kinyan stars, then we're going to give him the sheaf of stars, and he's going to make a kinyan on all those stars. So that's what happens basically behind the doors. 8 different kinyanim for the guy, and then we have sold your chametz, and tomorrow we'll talk more about how to treat the sold chametz in your house. Have a great day.